Hey everybody, Todd Peak Appliance here. Out on a call, Bosch dishwasher, not doing anything, no power. So what I found is this is the unit, and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, but I go down low here, and oh, look at that! We got one of these toe kicks completely built in, so no love here from the trim carpenter. Really need to get here. For whatever reason in this area, I see a lot of these units where the junction box on the machine, the connectors blow off, and I don't know why. It seems like kind of an epidemic. Argument would be if the connectors were too loose or pretty poor connectors, that'd do it. But here I can't even get at it. So I take the old trusty test pen because I can see a little bit of cord up behind here. You can't even see it, it's so tight. But anyway, I went ahead and tried the old test pen. I got nothing. Going around the cabinet, this is an island. And the only other outlet here, this one works though, so because it could be linked. But I tried that, tried all other access points, to no avail. Lucky for these guys, I got one of these. It's my multi-tool. I find you just put the best blade on possible. Probably be good to use a Sawzall with like a nice metal blade, but I don't have one of those here, so I'm gonna use that, and we'll see how it goes. All right, we're back. Yeah, kind of just as I suspected. One of these connectors is melted. It was actually on the neutral side, but it is worth noting at this point here. So what was above the toe kick that I had my pen on was this part. And this was the part that wasn't live because the connectors were blown up. So it was down here, but what I did is I made a fairly square cut there with my multi-tool, and I'll just slide this back in place. The other end has a vacuum, so I got to reconnect that. That just kind of popped off. I'll just put this back in place and do a countersink, put a screw there, because if you leave this thing flapping in the breeze, you may get a call back for the door not opening properly. There's the door panel, and that happens. That's pretty, that can be common, especially on some of these Bosches. They kind of have a fancy toe kick system on some of them, where if they're not in properly, they hang up on the door. So it's also worth noting that here, before I tripped the breaker, because the panel wasn't really labeled, so I had to go through there with my pen. And what I do is I just leave this on there. Of course, now it's not on, but I leave that on there because the breaker panel's in the other room. I can hear it beep as I'm flipping down the panel, flipping through the breakers. So that's, one of the things. For whatever reason, I suspected it. Well, I know the reason, because I've seen quite a few of these on Bosches. I see them on all machines, but it seems like more so on these Bosches. I don't know why. Maybe they run a little hotter on 110 volts. I don't quite know. But and the other thing you want to check too is make sure that this is the hot. And like I said, I checked that before I turned it off, because a lot of times guys will mix these up. They'll have the hot to neutral and vice versa. And machines do run like that. Sometimes they do. I have seen a few machines where they were wired like that, and they ran for, I don't know, 5 years or so, and then all of a sudden they stopped running. Go out there and wire it up properly, and then they run again. So it's kind of weird, but the design is power goes through at a certain way, a certain direction, not the other way around. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to clean these up a little better. Cut this back because it's so thick. But that's pretty much it. I'll put new connectors on. Got my new yellows there. and that pretty much will sum this repair up. I don't expect anything else out of it. I'll probably maybe take the door panel down and tighten this guy up here before that yanks off, but anyway, that's that on this machine, and hope that helps you out. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like, post comments and all that stuff, and hope you guys have a good day out there.